Hi friends! Today we're going to read the Christmas story, the Nativity story from Matthew. I want to point out, we're not going to read all of Matthew 1, but I want to point out that Matthew 1 is really important because it lists out the lineage of Jesus and how we know that he's the Messiah because he fulfilled multiple prophecies from the Old Testament about the Messiah. But a really important fulfillment of prophecy about the Messiah is that he is a descendant of King David. And Matthew 1 lists out how he's a descendant of King David through his mom. Not just Joseph, Mary's fiance, because we know that Mary was a virgin when she became pregnant. Joseph did not contribute to Jesus' conception. Although he is a descendant of King David, we see in Matthew 1 that Mary actually herself is a descendant of King David. But we're not going to read the entire lineage. I just want to point that out. So it's starting in Matthew 1:18. It says, "This is how Jesus the Messiah was born. His mother, Mary, was engaged to be married to Joseph. But before the marriage took place, while she was still a virgin, she became pregnant through the power of the Holy Spirit. Joseph, to whom she was engaged, was a righteous man, and he did not want to disgrace her publicly, so he decided to break the engagement quietly. As he considered this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream. 'Joseph, son of David,' because he was also a descendant of King David. 'Joseph, son of David,' the angel said, 'do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for the child within her was conceived by the Holy Spirit. And she will have a son, and you are to name him Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins.'" So I think it's so cool how God knew how to speak to Joseph. You know, sometimes a loved one that we have might be struggling with something, or someone in our lives might be struggling with someone, and we wish that they would just, get with the program. We wish that they would maybe change their minds about something that they feel really strongly about, or maybe they're really hurt by something and we just wish that we could change their minds. We're not in control of anyone else, we're only in control of ourselves. But God knows how to speak to people, just like God knew how to speak to Joseph. It says, "All of this occurred to fulfill the Lord's message through his prophet. Look, the virgin will conceive a child. She will give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel," which means God is with us. When Joseph woke up, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded and took Mary as his wife. But he did not have sexual relations with her until her son was born. And Joseph named him Jesus. Jesus was born in Bethlehem. This is chapter 2. Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the reign of King Herod. About that time, some wise men from eastern lands arrived in Jerusalem, asking, "Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star as it rose, and we have come to worship him." Now, it doesn't say how many wise men there was. A lot of times in nativity, settings, it shows that there are three. There were 3 gifts. We don't know how many wise men there were. But it says, at about that time, some wise men arrived from eastern lands, asking, "Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star as it rose, and we have come to worship him." King Herod was deeply disturbed when he heard this, as was everyone in Jerusalem. He called a meeting of religious priests and teachers of religious law and asked, "Where is the Messiah supposed to be born?" "In Bethlehem in Judea," they said, "for this is what the prophets wrote. And you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not least among the ruling cities of Judah. For a ruler will come from you who will be the shepherd for my people, Israel." So God's still calling Israel his people. Then Herod called for a private meeting with the wise men, and he learned from them the time when the star first appeared. Then he told them, "Go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child. And when you find him, come back and tell me so that I can go and worship him." But he wasn't being honest. After this interview, the wise men went their way, and the star they had seen in the east guided them to Bethlehem. It went ahead of them and stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were filled with joy. They entered the house and saw the child with his mother. So sometimes we see this scene where Jesus is a baby. In most nativity sets, there's 3 wise men, and we see Jesus depicted as a baby, but it says that they entered the house, so they weren't in the cave anymore. They weren't in the stable where Jesus was born anymore. It doesn't say that they found him in swaddling clothes. That was the shepherds in Luke found Jesus when he was a baby, but here it doesn't say that. It says they entered his house and he was a child. So I wonder how long it took the wise men to find Jesus. I wonder how long they were traveling. But it says they entered the house and saw the child with his mother, Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasure chests and gave him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, so 3 gifts. When it was time to leave, they returned to their own country by another route, for God had warned them in a dream not to return to Herod. After the wise men were gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. "Get up, flee to Egypt with the child and his mother." The angel said, "Stay there until I tell you to return, because Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." Man, it's a good thing for praying parents and parents who hear from the Lord. And I hope that I marry someone who hears from the Lord like that to take care of me and our babies. That night, Joseph left for Egypt with the child and Mary, his mother, and they stayed there until Herod's death. This fulfilled what the Lord had spoken through the prophet. "I called my son out of Egypt." Herod was furious when he realized that the wise men had outwitted him. He sent soldiers to kill all the boys around Bethlehem who were around 2 years old and under, based on the wise men's report of the star's first appearance. Herod's brutal action fulfilled what God had spoken through the prophet Jeremiah. A cry was heard in Ramah, weeping in great mourning. Rachel weeps for her children, refusing to be comforted, for they are dead. When Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt. "Get up," the angel said. "Take the child and his mother back to the land of Israel, because those who were trying to kill the child are dead." So Joseph got up and returned to the land of Israel with Jesus and his mother. And when he learned that the new ruler of Judea was Herod's son, he was afraid to go there. Then, after being warned in a dream, he left for the region of Galilee. So the family went and lived in a town called Nazareth. This fulfilled what the prophets had said, that he will be called a Nazarene. So that is the story of Jesus' birth, of Joseph, God leading Joseph, and I was reading out of Matthew 1, not the entire chapter, Matthew 1:18, all the way of Matthew 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment Merry Christmas in the comments. Wish me a Merry Christmas. Send this video to someone who needs to hear the Christmas story, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't before. I'll see you guys later. Bye.